Happy Halloween. Don't think there's anything scarier than owning two human skulls. He's not part of my costume. I happen to throw on a animal inspired shirt, sequin ears, and bring out Beauregard. Charlie is staying in there. She's a wild one. We'll probably get questions. If you are new, welcome. McKenna, Stitching in Sequins. Beauregard, not his name, but I feel like he's a very dignified individual and would have a very fancy name like Beauregard. He is an actual human skull, so is Charlie. She's a female, not her name. And Beauregard is 16th or 17th century, and I love him. I love him. Beauregard's going on my desk. You can look at me. All right, so happy Halloween to those that celebrate gorgeous Sunday day here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I thought I'd get on and do a video because I have all kinds of goodness to share with you guys. Life update. Usual here in the Milwaukee household. For those that follow me on IG, a few weeks past I had put out a guess what Joe had bought me, wrong answers only, and then a couple days passed and people are like, I miss what Joe got you. We could not deal with the one family car situation, so he found a brand new car for me. It was in West Lynn, Portland, so he flew up there and then drove the car back a few weeks ago, and I'm in love with it, and I'm so happy I can just get in the car and go, and we don't need to compare our schedules for the day. Are you going to the gym? Yeah, well, what time? Okay, well, make sure you're not gone too long if you go shopping, because then you have to go pick up the boys. So, yeah, and those that are not aware, Joe was involved in a drunk driving accident a little more than a month ago. Drunk driver hit him and two other individuals, totaled the car, and now dealing with all of that stuff. So yeah, trying to think what else. Well, for right now, let's just get into it. Finishes. I need to call Michael's and see if there is an update or an ETA on when my two framed pieces will be complete. I dropped, gosh, 2 weeks ago, and I'm just antsy to see if I need to go crazy on them at Michael's. Watch my IG. I might have to live stream that. All right, so finishes. I was a few weeks back. This was hers. I don't want to say the deceased stitcher received her stash, and all stashes that I acquire from deceased stitchers or stitchers that are just retiring from the art due to eyesight issues. I like to keep one or two of their whips, if they have any, finish it, so it's a mixture of their stitches and mine. I kept this piece. This is Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais, and I finished it off. There was probably like 75 to 80% of this complete. Finished the rest of this border all the way up. These needed to be outlined and filled in. I'll go closer for you guys. This whole basket needed to be done. And then I just had to fill in a lot of the white on the house. A couple of the motifs here I stitched in 2021, and I absolutely love it. I have already sold the chart, and yeah, really enjoyed doing this. I went through my closet O frames and do not have anything that will work. So we'll see how Michael's does the second time around. If not, I would like to get this piece framed. So I know, let me grab something to put behind. I know this is going around on IG, people stitching it, and yeah, I'm gonna turn down my light. I've really liked it. It doesn't scream holiday, Christmas. So, and I really like the colors on it. And she had used, what was called for? This was a club kit, I think from a retreat. So I think it just came out. I don't know if it's been released. I don't stay all that up with Brenda Gervais. But when it was in her whip bag, there were all of the called for threads on paper notched. So it very much resembled like a retreat piece. So I am excited to have that complete. Sit on my, we'll leave it there. All right, next finish, Springtime in the Graveyard. This is from Creepy Cross Stitch. This is from Tusk and Cardinal from Lindsay. This is the book she just released. You can find it on Amazon. I did a full review on it a couple of videos back. And here is the piece. I'll show you the piece in the book. She does a lot of these on black fabric, and I decided to go for a light fabric instead. So here it is, the book, in the book on dark, and here is my version of it on lighter. Turn the light down. Let's try that. So yes, you can barely see the moon here, but I kind of like that it's color on color. So yeah, super cute. I will find a little frame for it, frame it up. And so this white hutch, I have these two shelves here are all stitchy gifts or pieces I have stitched, or a lot of it is from deceased stitchers. But this top shelf is sort of my in-room medical shelf. So I have Charlie at one end, and then I have Beauregard at the other end. I have an embalming book, graded lessons in psychology and hygiene, a medical book, and then any sort of skull patterns or anything I've put up there for them to enjoy. And I have to keep them separated on either side of the hutch because Charlie is upset that Beau has better teeth than her. I stitched, is this? No, that was that fabric. So yes, that piece. So let's put that here. Another finish, which was a late night. I just need to make up my mind with this because it's sitting right next to my chair and I see it peripheral vision, and I know our whips can't talk to us, but they kind of sort of do. And it was kind of like, work on me, don't work on me, finish me up, do something with me. I know I had said I was gonna finish it. I lied. Not the first time. What am I talking about? My ATM at the Met, Mirabilia. I had stitched her dress all the way down. I had gotten to the bottom. I had done a Vicki Clayton silk conversion. I was doing beads here and there, but I was also attaching Swarovski crystals. Let's move this a little like that, shall we? Does that work? With glue. I know. So I will show, and I did this on Autumn, 36 count. It was a fabric from Silk Weaver. I had done her skin 1/2, but did her dress and everything else 2/2. And I did not like how thick and bulky it was. So that was like my issue with, I want to stitch on her. I love her. I've done so much. She'd be amazing, fully done. I got over it. And I made a decision. And I love my decision. So I found this. I had pulled a darker frame, a ornate over-the-top gold frame, which sort of washed her out, and then this I mean, it's showing pretty true tealy green bluish frame, and I thought, yes, this is it. And I love her. I really do. I love that I decided to just bite the bullet and make a decision and frame her up. Now, if you've been following me, you know that I had reached the bottom of her dress. Here is the bottom of her dress. So I had stitched all of that. And there were beads I added to the sash. This I had just did not do in beads. I had just picked a close enough DMC shade. I did not add beads. So I cut it. Oh my God, you cut it? Yes, I cut it. And you can too. I've burnt my stuff. I've cut my stuff. Now I can enjoy her. So I wouldn't say mirrors are like my thing, but it has opened up a whole new realm for me, idea-wise, for these mirrors. Stitch them halfway. Don't include the background if you don't want. Beauregard, you're making my nose itch. So, everything you see shiny on her here are Swarovski crystals that I just used Eileen's fabric glue and tweezers. Her head thing here is beads, but then the horizontal piece The feather here I cut down because if you look on the chart, it like extends really far. I made it much shorter and then just did a couple stitches and then filled the rest in with the crystals. Let's get that piece of fuzz off. This whole drapery thing. I did do beads along here. I had brought one side down to like the tassel, and I didn't have to cut anything on the sides. I just cut her mid. I chopped her at like the vagina. So now she can't have kids, but that's okay. She didn't want kids anyway. Look at her. But I love her. I really, really do. So, yeah. So, that night, after I had finished doing her all up, I was on 1, 2, 3 stitch looking at damn Mirabilias and screenshotting them and then cropping them down with my phone software and thinking, oh, she would look really cool if I just cropped her midway. And so I had posted 3 Miras that I thought would be amazing. I had an amazing lady reach out to me. She is sending me her copy of Stargazer. And then I think I have one in my shopping cart right now. And then if you guys are familiar with Bella Filipina, along the same lines as Mira's, I would say a lot more stitching though. But the designer does sort of like that pretty ladies, a lot of mermaids. And I have one of those in my shopping cart as well because that one would be amazing chopped in half. So my birthday start I decided to do. So let's go back. My birthday start in my last video, I talked about, what is it? Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. I threw the pattern over there to file it back away. I was going to do just the bottom portion. And I thought, I have so many large whips. I don't want to start another one. Don't have any heids. I don't do heids. But I have a lot of pieces that I do want to finish. I have under 10 whips, so it's nothing crazy. But I would like to get more work or just buckle down and get a couple that I have done. And then I thought I also have a lot of Halloween darkish vibe pieces, and I don't want to have too many where then I seem like that's all I'm stitching on. So that's why I think I really enjoyed working on Winter Rose Manor because it was completely different than what I'm used to. So I decided to put Autumn away, and after finishing up at the Met, I really wanted to start another one. And the one I'd had in my stash that I've always liked, Bluebeard's Princess. Amazing on the green. I love I just love how it is, but I knew I would not be doing the seahorses, the border, or this thing up at the top. But I thought she would be really cool to do halfway because that's what I like about it. I like her long greenish blue hair, and I don't need to do beads. I could if I want, or the Swarovskis, just go to town and bling her up. So I decided, I I decided to start yesterday as an anniversary start. Yesterday was 11 years that Joe has decided to stick with me. Or maybe me stick with Joe. Probably him sticking with me, because if he hasn't divorced my ass between my shoe buying, purse buying, skull buying, jewelry buying craziness, I think I'm okay. I really just want to push the envelope. How far, what ridiculousness can I purchase? And he still stays with me. Stay tuned. Challenge accepted. I didn't have a green. I love it on the green. I'm going to do it differently though. So I loved stitching the 1/2 skin on at the Met. So I knew I definitely wanted to stitch, I always want to say Blackbeard's, but it's not. Bluebeard's Princess on a 36 count. I went through my stash. I got this when I was in Vegas last time. Voodoo, picture this. Plus, here it is. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's that bright, but you get the gist. You get the gist of it. Let me put... So I am working on the shell. She is looking at while combing her hair. I don't know, maybe it's like a mirror or something. So there is the shell, and then this is like the crook of her arm leading up. Yeah, so worked on a little bit of this morning. There are sections that require beads, so I'm leaving all of that blank, and I'll try my hardest to do all the beading or Swarovski gluing towards the very end. But it's hard because my OCD, I want to finish a section before moving on. So it's like, okay, I decided to start at the shell because I came far enough down. I don't measure fabric or necessarily start in the middle, because I know I'm not doing all of her. So I don't want to start in the middle and then have these huge sections up at the top and the bottom where I could have cut her off with scissors and then have some of this voodoo fabric that I could use for a small or something. So I kind of just guesstimated, hey, her hair, her head, but I want to make sure I didn't start over too far on the fabric, so working her way down, and then I would realize her arm and the shell would be like off the fabric. So that's why I started at the shell first, working over, and I know I've come down far enough on the fabric. I love how the colors are popping on this fabric. So this is what I will continue to work on for today. And yeah. So I know some of you guys, I see you guys telling me to stitch her all because it would be amazing. That's great. You can do that. Not me. So I love the idea of doing these gorgeous mirrors and only doing kind of, you know, head, shoulders, boobs on them and making them small and being able to stitch them up. Stitch up the part that you want. We already do that with so many other charts, regardless of what it is. Oh, I don't want to stitch the border on this, but I'm going to stitch everything else. Or I'm going to just take a few of the motifs from this chart and put them together. Well, why can't you do that with the mirror, right? Again, no police, unless there are mirror police that will come and hunt me down and say, how dare you chop her off at the vagina. Hashtag chop her off at the vagina. Another piece that I will start. Bo doesn't know what to say. He's speechless. That I will probably take as a new start. Let me rephrase that. I will probably take this piece with me when I leave because it's small and I know I'll have 2 evenings to work on it. More to come. That means, yes, I'm going somewhere. The Gardener Blackbird Designs. I know it's not my thing. What am I doing? Stitching mirrors and Blackbird. I really like this though. I love the color shades. It's soft. It's pretty. I love that she has no face. The plant is bigger than her. Her dress. What is she hiding? I bought this at a Stitch in Time in Reno, Nevada. Great store. Go see Vicky. I pulled colors for it. I think I'm using basically, all the called for? All but 2 and a DMC. So yeah. Really pretty shades. Now it is stitched on this lighter fabric, which makes sense for all the colors to pop. And again, 1136 count. So I had uploaded a few weeks back a ton of fabric from Stitcher's stashes I had acquired. I still have a small assortment. I don't know if any of it is Lakeside. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you go to 1884stitchery.com, I have a fabric tab and everything there will be listed. The size, the count, manufacturer, if I do know. I think out of all the fabric pieces that I had listed, which were probably close to 50, 60, I kept 3 pieces. One of which, 36 count maple sugar Lakeside linen. So I think this is what I'm going to use to start the Gardener on. So let's put all of this together. At the mat can go away. What else have I worked on? The procession, the work basket. I know I have a couple copies of this available in my store, and I do have a work basket tab. This piece is interesting because the big 4 flowers up at the top here, you can do in like a satin stitch to fill in. And then these girls' hair and the flowers that they're holding are like French knots, or you can do the sheep. The first one looks like the sheep. The second one either looks like a javelina that we have here in Arizona or one of those Australian capybaras. Not really sure. Maybe it's like a weird hybrid, but you could do their fur in French knots. I got better stuff to do than do that. So I will do the flowers up at the top with the satin stitch just to add some textural elements to the piece. I started on one of the girls' bouquets, and 4 Smyrna stitches are called for, and so I did that just to add a little bit of detail. I am stitching this on Edinburgh Linen 36 count from Zweigart in flax. So yeah, last time, so I finished this little sheep guy. Here's the little Javelina capybara. The bird, I think, is going to swoop in to pick up the sheep, but I don't know how it's going to do it because it doesn't have any feet. And then the first little girl goes here, and so here is her bouquet of flowers, and there are my Smyrna stitches. Finished the alphabet. Yes, some of the letters are doubled, like the A. Here are the flowers up at the top. I will fill in. I'm just doing this blue border around the top, which is called, but then there's an additional like 2 stitches border, but I'm not going to do that. The ground, doing the first 2 rows green, and then bottom other 2 rows some other color. So yeah, so I'm at the edge here, so it'll already start dropping down. But yeah, using the called for DMC, which looks lighter, I guess, in person when you kind of compare. But again, lighting, their fabric's dark. But yeah, I really like how this is coming along. So that is all that I've worked on. Now, because I don't take this procession piece with me, and I just work with it here, I don't have a project bag for it. I also don't have a project bag going for my Bluebeard's Princess. So what I do, show you guys, I have this box, remember, that I had purchased with the skull on it. Remember I had showed you guys this? I keep those threads for those projects. So this first set of DMC here, which is all needed, are the procession, and then these 2 collections here are for my Mira, highlighter, scissors. I keep the paper up in the top slot so I can remember what I'm size. And then these are all, it came with 100 bobbins. So I did a review of this a few videos back, so go back and look. But yeah, they send you, I did the whole, the most expensive options. So you get the box, the bobbins, needle minder, and then a scissor case holder. But the bobbins, they give you 100 of them with whatever image you had decided to go with. So those I've just left in here because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. So yeah, I just work out of this to keep those 2 projects organized. My Mira fits up there at the back, so I can figure out if a symbol is a bead or a thread. And then yeah, I just leave that on my cart, and that is what I just have next to my chair, and I just work off of that. And then my other whip projects are down here on the other shelves. And you can get that cart, Target, Michael's. But yeah, I've had that cart for a really long time. All right, purchases. Oh, what I've been working on. So I've gotten motivated since my last video to do some design work, and I pulled out my Portuguese morning sampler that I had bought off of eBay well over a year ago. And a few of you have been extremely interested in it, so I am working on it, getting it, and I've done it all. I've done it all. I've charted the top word section, this bottom motif, and then I will also be releasing it in with it translated in an English version. But this border, I'm still working on colors for that. So yeah, and it's interesting because it is stitched on perforated paper, and it's not plastic perforated paper. You can look at it and tell it is of like paper material. So yeah, and there's staining on it and discoloration, which I love. I love that it's torn. Don't necessarily like that it's mounted on this pink with this gold. I do like gold frames. So maybe when I have it all done, I will take it apart, and it's not like it's like professionally framed in any sort of way. I mean, it could be, but there was never any paper or anything over it. So I could see myself making this a little better, but then I feel like the time that I have spent charting it, I've kind of grown to like the tacky pinkness with the gold frame. So we'll see. But this I am working on. I hear you, people. So yeah. Purchases. Yes. Chart purchases. Sheepish Designs, meet me at the field. I don't know, it's cute and I can be feminine at times, and I think it's, I don't know, I'll just show you the people what I'm talking about. Sheepish Designs. Meet me at the field. Was this Jerry that showed this from Yankee? God, I can never remember. It's a Yankee Stitcher. It's not Yankee Candle Stitcher. Yankee Stitcher. Was it you that purchased this? Autumn 1831 from Samplers Not Forgotten. This had always kind of been on my radar. And so, yeah. Purchased it. Jerry, if it was you, let me know and we'll sell it. Goes in the trash. Willow Hill Samplings. I found this on Etsy. This is the Cinderella sampler. Probably out of all, I'm not a huge Disney, like one of those crazy Disney fanatic people. But I probably liked the old Disney, you know, like cartoon version movie of Cinderella. So Willow Hill did a Cinderella sampler, and they also have it for other Disney movies as well. There's like a mermaid one for Little Mermaid. So yeah. And I've seen not that I've seen it in person, but I had come across this chart a couple years ago, and I liked it, but I didn't keep it. So yeah, when I checked out their Etsy store and saw it was available, I purchased it. All right, what else do I have to show? I think that is it. I need to learn to take more detailed notes so I'm not searching around. All right, so I talked about the gardener and how it will be a piece I will probably take with me. If you follow me on Instagram at 1884 Stitchery, you will have seen, or my Facebook group, you will have seen that I posted that something big is coming. No, I'm not pregnant. And as far as I know right now, Joe and I are still married. He hasn't said, okay, 11 years, that's it. 11 years, one day, no more. I have purchased a sampler reproduction company. It is out there what company it is, but I am actually going to hold off and wait until the transaction is done, as in the exchange of money, and I have all the goods. But if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, it will be coming out in the next couple days. So I'm recording this on Sunday, and I will be leaving Tuesday morning for, get ready, Dodge City, Kansas, to meet the owner of the current company halfway in order to receive some of the patterns in kit form, but basically getting 20 plus stitched models. A couple weeks ago, she had sent me a copy of one of every single chart, and these charts definitely need a facelift, and that is no disrespect to her. She completely agrees. They are, I'm looking at one right now, they are in the style of Scarlet Letter, in the way of that they can open up into multiple pages. And so the picture on the front is very old school in that it's just picture taken of it and then taken to, you know, Walgreens or CVS and printed off, and then they're just taped to the front of the chart. So I have already begun the tedious task of opening up. I use WinStitch software on my computer, and I have begun the task of recharting them, still using the same colors that are listed in the chart, but recharting them exactly, so then I can add that facelift and that much needed look to them. And then also making these charts for the first time PDF available. So I have accomplished already charting a couple of them. And I'm so excited having this opportunity to get these designs out to stitchers. And there are 2 of the samplers that have never ever been released. So again, They are reproduction samplers, which I know is not my usual or at all realm of stitching, but when this opportunity came up, it doesn't matter if it's reproduction samplers or Halloween stuff or whatever. I fell in love with the idea and got so excited bringing these charts back out to people who maybe remembers the name from years back, and introducing this company to new stitchers. So I will be keeping the name, but I will be incorporating 1884 into it. So I am so excited with this new venture for 1884 Stitchery, and it definitely would not have been possible without the support of all of my customers. I started this, has it been 3 years at the end of this month? And I cannot believe where it is at today. So thank you so much to everyone that has purchased from 1884 Stitchery. This new venture is for all of you, and I have so many more ideas and so many possibilities with 1884. I hope that you are able to come along. That is it for my video. Thank you guys so much for taking the time and watching. And Bo and I hope that you have a very safe Halloween if you do go out, and we will see you next time. Bye guys.